The untamed life of the mountain man was the byproduct of one enterprise, the trapping of furs, mainly beaver, a talent Laramie Sasquatch Millers learned well.
Now this here's a beaver dam. These little fellers been busy.
Laramie's looking at one of nature's greatest engineering feats. Beaver can spend decades building a single dam, the largest one known, stretching almost 3,000 feet across. The skills Laramie puts to practice in hunting game are similar to those he uses to find sign of beaver and other fur bearers and to locate the best places for his sets.
If you look right there, that little runway, that's a perfect spot to set a conibear trap. It kind of works as a funnel, so it'll funnel those beavers right into my trap. They don't really have anywhere else to go, so I'm gonna set my first trap right there.
Laramie's pack basket is a hold-all for every manner of trap. And, woven from hardwood strips, it prevents sharp metal edges from digging in while Sasquatch hikes the woods.
What I'm gonna set right here is a 330 conibear trap, and you've seen me set these all the time, and one thing you wanna really be careful of is never get comfortable with them because, I mean, these traps kill fairly good-sized critters. Because that thing goes off and it won't be pretty. It won't just be a black and blue spot. It'll be a, ouch, my finger's broken in half spot. You know, you want to make sure you tie this off good just in case the water rises or whatnot. Your beaver doesn't go floating down the river with your trap. That'll be an expensive set. So what I've got here is I've got a couple of the bark's already been eaten off of them. That's the sticks you want to use for your braces because if they've still got bark on them, you risk that beaver coming up and starting to eat the bark off the side and then it goes off and you have nothing. You put too much effort into this to have something go wrong and miss an animal. And you've heard me say it a million times, the last thing, always double check and look at your trap and make sure your safeties are off. That's pretty sexy if you ask me. Now I'm setting a water set. I'm gonna keep moving down and set as many traps as I can. I'm bound to catch something sooner or later.
The trail on which Laramie walks leads back 500 years to high fashion, and the one animal at the heart of it. The second largest rodent in the world, the beaver, was by the 1500s trapped virtually to extinction in Europe to supply the market for felt for stylish hats. So the early exploration of North America was fueled by the hunt for the valuable beaver. For the mountain men, the job was not only about trapping the beaver, but preparing the pelts to pack out to be sold. A single prime pelt could be worth half an ounce of pure gold, and riches were to be made by mountain men as well as fur traders, until beaver hats went out of fashion, replaced by ones of silk. Laramie Miller, the hunt for beaver is as much about a way of living as turning a profit. Laramie's hunt for beaver means walking a lot of country to find just the right spots for his traps.
You can look right here, this is a perfect little funnel. I think I'm gonna set a 220 up right here. just because the possibility of catching a beaver in this is just as high as catching anything else. So I want a little bit bigger trap, but I still want small enough to, if I do catch a mink or something like that, it doesn't cut the sucker in half. So I'm gonna use this funnel to my advantage. I'm hoping to catch mink right here. There's coon tracks all up and down this bank. Well, will you look at that?
Laramie Sasquatch Miller has set about the task of making a living in the way the old mountain men did, by his traps. Scouting the country, he's finding likely little channels and other beaver highways in which to make his water sets.
You can look right here, this is a perfect little funnel. I think I'm gonna set a 220 up right here, just because the possibility of catching a beaver in this is just as high as catching anything else. So I want a little bit bigger trap, but I still want small enough to, if I do catch a mink or something like that, it doesn't cut the sucker in half. So I'm gonna use this funnel to my advantage.
The conibear trap Laramie's setting is made to kill instantly when it snaps shut. Now, Laramie finds 2 stout sticks to brace up his trap.
See, and on this one, it's a little different. I don't have a tree or anything to tie to. So you put your 2 braces in, and then you got to put another stick out here so that you can tie the trap to so it don't go floating down the river.
Unexperienced mountain men knew which way his stick floats in case a beaver swam off with his trap.
And there you go, that's a perfect little set. I'm hoping to catch mink right here is what I'm really after. But like I said before, the possibility of beaver, muskrat, even otter coming through here is pretty high. There's lots of food, lots of little narrow passageways through here, and that's what them critters love, because they can kind of ambush their prey in all these little coves. Just perfectly natural for a trapper right here.
Beaver were the grand prize, but that didn't stop mountain men from trapping other critters.
There's coon tracks all up and down this bank, and I see a few crawfish shells where them coons have been eating crawfish. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna set a leg hold right here with a drowning set, so that coon will get in the water and the weight of that trap will drown him. Yeah, I've got this leg hold set up with about 10 foot of chain. You know, the mountain men back in the day, every trap that they set was a water set drowning, because they couldn't afford for an animal to get on land and kind of flop around and scuff his hide all up. And that was big money for them, so they couldn't afford for that to happen. And there you go, that's just another variation of how to set a leg hold. Like the old saying goes, there's more than one way to skin a cat.
Or, if the trap works, a raccoon, or a mink, or a beaver. A trapper's morning is always filled with excitement as he goes out to see what his sets may have taken. The first trap Laramie comes to this morning is a disappointment. It rests untouched, with nothing having found it overnight. But there are other sets to check, and one of them could pay off for Sasquatch with brown gold.
Well, will you look at that? Christmas came early. This right here was brown gold. Next step's the physical part.
For the old mountain men, going after the beaver was not about a choice of lifestyles. For many, it was a way to earn their livings and sometimes their fortunes without having to plow a field or build a fence.
Well, will you look at that? Christmas came early. You know, to the mountain men back in the day, this right here was brown gold. This is the most profitable business because everybody was making hats and stuff out of beaver back east, so they had a high demand. Well, it's not quite as profitable today, but it's still fun and a way of life.
In some ways, the fun part is over, and the hard part of the mountain man's life is about to begin. After the excitement of finding a beaver in the trap, there's now the job of readying it to take it to market.
Mountain men back in the day, they'd go out and check their traps every single morning early while it was still cool and say they caught 3 beaver that day. Well, as soon as they got those beavers back to the shoreline, they'd skin them right there. And then they'd use the beaver meat they would cut the tails off because the tails was a delicacy, and they'd use the rest of the beaver. They'd either eat it if they were really hungry, or they would take it and go bait other traps that they had set for black bear and wolf and stuff like that. Beaver, they couldn't afford for the hide to go bad, so that they had to do it right then and there, and that's the best way to do it.
The other beaver product is castor sacks, used to scent perfume for rich ladies to dab on.
Brown gold. But the work isn't done yet, it just started. Next step's the physical part, fleshing.
Fleshing, or flensing, with a knife or scraper, takes off shreds of meat and fat and gets down to the bare hide, which, when dry, will not rot or be infested with insects.
Well, I'm just about done with this hide, and what I'll do now is I'll take it and I'll stake it to a board in a circle so that it stretches, so when it dries it doesn't shrink down.
With the pelt stretched out to dry, Laramie can sit back as a tender beaver haunch cooks over the open fire to make his mountain man dinner for him. Another morning, and Laramie Sasquatch Miller is heading back out on the trail, checking his trap sets to see if they've earned him anything more in the night.
Well, will you look at that? Oh, that's awesome. Old Daniel Boone would be proud.
For all the adventure and excitement of the mountain man's rugged life, this is the heart of it. They came to the mountains to trap the beaver and make their fortunes, and the hours were long and hard.
There it is, brown gold.
For the mountain men, every pelt of every stripe was a prize.
Well, will you look at that? It's gonna be coon stew for dinner.
This is a drowning set, which is self-explanatory. It both kills the animal swiftly and protects the fur from damage.
Now all I'm gonna do is reset my trap real quick right here in the same spot and continue on.
With a water set, Laramie doesn't have to worry as much about his scent as he would with a leg hold set on dry land. With each new trap set awaits a possible new surprise.
Oh, that's awesome, it's a mink. You know, I haven't caught very many of these little suckers. That is freaking cool. Look at that little dude. That's a nice little surprise.
Once more, it's back to camp and the chores of skinning and dressing the skins to make them into prime pelts.
You know, back in the day, those mountain men, the only thing they really trapped was beaver. That was big money on the market. Every once in a while you hear about them taking coons or whatever to the market, but they didn't get anything out of them because beaver was such a craze. So they never set specific traps out for coon or anything else. It was always beaver, but obviously every once in a while they'd catch a coon or any kind of water animal in those beaver traps. I haven't quite decided what I'm gonna do with it, but this one has a really pretty thick hide, so I'll figure some cool way of using it for something. Now that, my friends, is one beautiful coon hide. Old Daniel Boone would be proud.
It could be that Laramie is contemplating a coonskin cap, but in the meantime, he's fixing the rest of the raccoon into a bubbling stew. It's still a big country out here, but without the beaver, it would have remained unseen and unexplored for far longer than it was.